My best friend made the days leading up to my bachelorette party a stressful nightmare, and now I don't think I want her as my maid of honor anymore. For context, I, 24F, met my fiancé, 23M, in college. We've been together for over 6 years. I met my maid of honor, 24F, in college as well. We went to culinary school, so super niche, and my maid of honor and I became best friends by bonding over baking and taking classes together. We'll call my maid of honor Gianna. I've always known that I would marry my fiancé. We were each other's first real relationship, and we felt like we were meant for each other from the beginning. Gianna has always been nothing but supportive of us throughout these past few years, and I've always known I wanted her to be my maid of honor. I have 3 other bridesmaids, 1 being my fiancé's sister and 2 being close friends that I met through work within the past couple of years. I would have had another bridesmaid, however, she got engaged as well and backed out due to not being able to contribute financially to all the events while paying for her own wedding, which I completely understood. My fiancé and I got engaged on Valentine's Day of this year in Hawaii. I'll note that both Gianna and my fiancé's sister flew out to surprise me for the engagement. We're getting married next year, and I decided to have my bachelorette party in early September, aka a few weeks ago. I live on the West Coast and wanted to go to a cute beach town a couple of hours from me. 2 of my bridesmaids live near me, and my maid of honor and fiancé's sister live on the East Coast. The trip we planned was only 2 days, drive in Friday afternoon, leave Sunday afternoon. Gianna is super type A, plans everything down to the minute, always arranges her outfits, the whole 9 yards, and overall loves to be in control of a situation. She has been like that since school, so I have been aware of this. I thought it would be a good trait to have as maid of honor when it came down to planning events. She wanted pretty much the whole bachelorette trip to be a surprise. However, I gave her a general idea of the vibe and activities that I wanted to do. I'm super low-key, don't drink or party, and just wanted to have a relaxing time with all my closest friends. Maybe go to the beach, have a nice dinner, go to brunch, etc. I didn't know much about the planning, but one of my bridesmaids was basically a liaison and would discuss plans with me, report back to Gianna, etc. I also planned for my wedding dress shopping to happen the day before we left for the trip. We arranged for my parents, Gianna, and fiancé's sister to fly across the country to partake. So, how it all exploded, it's about a week and a half before the bachelorette party, and I'm talking with my bridesmaids about the trip. The itinerary was revealed to me, and I was a bit overwhelmed. We were waking up before sunrise to drive there, going on several different hikes, spending a lot of time driving around, etc. It was literally planned out to the minute, 6:30 do this, 6:45 do that, 7:15 etc., and it would have been impossible to try and accomplish everything. Long story short, it wasn't as low-key as I was hoping, and my bridesmaids said they could chat with Gianna about cutting out a couple of the activities, mostly the hiking because I'm not outdoorsy. Gianna initially had a neutral response but was acting more distant, saying whatever you think is best and stuff like that. Ultimately, though, she left the Bachelorette group chat and texted me a long message that can be summarized as follows: "This trip is a disappointment, it's a dumpster fire, I could have taken you on a trip to Europe, just you and me, and I would have paid for the whole thing." They, the rest of the bridesmaids, weren't making any suggestions. I struggled to make the trip affordable for everyone else. I don't want to fly across the country to sit in an Airbnb, I don't want to come. Safe to say, I was shocked. Yes, I understand that I wanted to change the plans a bit, and it was a bit last minute, but we were not changing plans that had already been paid for or anything like that. I told her I was sorry for making her feel like I didn't appreciate her time and effort, but I did appreciate her, and that ultimately I still wanted her to come because I just wanted to have a fun time hanging out with all of my friends. I told her I was stressed at work and just wanted a chill and relaxing weekend, and I didn't want to go on the trip if she wasn't there. So she said, "You can't stay stuck in the Airbnb dwelling on your problems." The other bridesmaids wouldn't look at my PowerPoint. I'm at a time where I'm taking my life into my own hands. I don't give a crap about making friends with the other bridesmaids. I know you best. I'm sorry you feel stuck in life, and I'm not coming. Yet again, I was completely shocked. I figured she was just upset with me, which I completely understood. I tried to talk to her on the phone, but she would not pick up any of my calls. I told her it was unfair of her to do that and that we needed to talk. She proceeded to text, "I don't give a flying F about your friends, I'm not threatened by them. This trip isn't special enough, and no one wanted to put in the effort. If you're struggling so much financially, then you can reconsider your living situation." She then proceeded to bring up her emotionally abusive ex from over a year ago and how, apparently, I didn't support her enough. She also brought up that she has lost trust in me because I tell my fiancé everything. She then emphasized again that she doesn't want to come. I said fine, I can't change her mind, but I needed some time to think. I go on the Bachelorette trip without her and have a great time with the rest of my bridesmaids. Flash forward a couple of weeks, and I decide to reach out to her to try and make amends. I ask if we could talk on the phone, and she says yes, but for the record, we're fine and I'm fine. I tell her that I have a few things I need to get off my chest, that I was hurt by a couple of the things she said during our conversation a couple of weeks ago. She says, "Okay, so that's not how this is gonna work. You're only bringing this up to make me feel bad about my decision. I meant the things I said, and I won't apologize. You wouldn't be bringing this up if you really wanted to make amends." I told her I just wanted her to apologize for how she was making me feel. If it truly wasn't intentional, wouldn't that be the least I could ask for? If she really cares about me and loves me, wouldn't she feel bad that I feel hurt? I asked her why she brought up her ex at a time like this, when I thought it was long over and she had worked through it. She says, "Reality check, your life is your creation. You chose to move across the country, you chose to follow your fiancé, you chose this new job, you begged to get married. This should be the happiest time of your life, you've gotten everything you've ever wanted, but you're hating every second of it. You should wake up every day and be grateful for what you have. I'm not going to apologize for how I made you feel because I didn't hold you down and inject sadness and stress into you. We didn't move past X's name because I basically hid my feelings from you to protect yours." I pretty much addressed all her points and then some, but I decided then and there to not have her as my maid of honor. I wished her well in life, but I told her that if this much drama was coming from a bachelorette party, how can I know some shenanigans won't happen on my wedding day? My friends were telling me that it seems like she's not in a good place mentally, or else she wouldn't be bringing up her ex. She also couldn't stop talking about how she didn't care to be friends with the rest of my bridesmaids and that she wasn't threatened by them, which I thought was odd. Just overall a really strange situation that I still feel like is a fever dream. She has been my best friend for years, and this totally changed my point of view of her. Am I wrong for rethinking our friendship and removing her as my maid of honor? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Did something happen between her and the other bridesmaids? She said the word threatened a few times, and I wonder about that. It sounds like she is overwhelmed and possibly traumatized by something. Maybe you could ask her if there are other things going on for her at the moment? Ops response. So, according to my bridesmaids, nothing happened. However, I currently work with two of them and have been for the past couple of years. I only see my ex-maid of honor once a year now, and I feel like she thinks she's being replaced. Commenter 2. I feel like we need more information. Were the other bridesmaids making it difficult for her by not helping or responding? She seemed to imply that she was on her own for planning, and maybe the reason she doesn't care about making friends with the bridesmaids is because she doesn't like them. If they all ignored her when she was trying to get the event organized, I could see why. I will get downvoted, but I do see her side. It would be incredibly frustrating to try to plan something and have no one acknowledge your questions or offer ideas, and then when they finally do reach out, it's to tell her she's doing it wrong. Why didn't they come up with suggestions before? Why wait until the week before? She was probably like, screw it, and gave up. It's perfectly reasonable to not want to fly across the country for 2 days of sitting in an Airbnb. Ops response. I saw all the texts in the bridal party group chat. They did not make anything difficult whatsoever, made tons of suggestions, as we all live in the same state, and were vocal about what they were willing to spend. At the time, Gianna said it was fine, but then she came to me and complained that they weren't willing to spend money on anything. If anything, they made better suggestions for activities. For example, I don't party or drink, and Gianna wanted to do a night of bar crawling, which they said I wouldn't like. Gianna had suggested whale watching, which they mentioned I wouldn't like. The reason everything happened the week before was because that's when I found out about the plans, and I only wanted to get rid of a few of the hikes or lookout points that were far away or involved a lot of driving. The rest of the weekend went according to plan, down to the same restaurants, boutiques we were scheduled to shop at, and beaches to go to. I told her that I knew it was terrible timing, but I was advised by the rest of my bridesmaids to speak up, and so I did. Update 7 months later. Hello, this is an update on a post I made a while ago. So, I recently got married, and it was absolutely beautiful. All of my closest family and friends were there to celebrate, and it couldn't have been more perfect. My mom took a ton of photos and posted them on Facebook. My old college roommate reached out to me for details on where Gianna, ex-maid of honor, was, since she wasn't in the photos, but here's some backstory. My old college roommate, we'll call her Daisy, and I were in a friend group with Gianna and a couple of other people. We were close, but we had all moved away after college and went our separate ways. Daisy ended up getting engaged around 2 years ago, and Gianna was one of her bridesmaids. There was a whole situation, and according to what Gianna had told me, She said that Daisy was forcing the bridal party to pay for a huge bridal shower at a winery, and she didn't feel comfortable doing that. Daisy's maid of honor had kicked Gianna out of the group chat, and Gianna and Daisy never spoke again. At the time, I believed Gianna, resulting in me rarely speaking with Daisy, but we still wished each other happy birthday, etc. Flash forward to a week ago, Daisy texts me and asks why Gianna wasn't in any of my mom's photos on Facebook. She knew she was my maid of honor, and I told her the whole story. When I tell you I was shocked when she told me that Gianna had done the exact same thing to her. Gianna, only being a bridesmaid, had suggested they do an all-inclusive trip to Mexico for the bachelorette party, and a lot of the bridal party were not comfortable paying for that, which people were openly vocal about. Gianna removed herself from the group chat and bridal party, saying that Daisy didn't deserve her, that she just wanted everything to be perfect, and that Daisy's maid of honor was bullying her. I told Daisy that I was so sorry that happened to her, and that as a result of their friendship breaking up, my friendship with her broke up as well. She was super understanding, and we bonded over the whole thing. But I feel so vindicated now and just had to share because this blew my mind. Have a lovely day. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Is Gianna a lesbian? This is giving jealousy/unrequited love vibes. Ops response. Definitely not, but she has a terrible dating track record. The worst was when she dated a 40-year-old man with kids when she was 19. Her most recent ex, who is our age, was emotionally abusive to her, told her she needed therapy, etc. She was actually very close to marrying him, but I had to practically beg her to break up with him. She made a lot of terrible choices, but I was always there to support her. Commenter 2. Was her ex really abusive? Like, did you witness it firsthand? Because if Gianna told you that without any proof, you might want to doubt whether it was the truth. But if you did see it, then Gianna does need some therapy. That attitude is neither normal nor healthy. She could end up alone quickly. Ops response. For sure. I never met him in person, but she sent me screenshots. He's even made strange comments when she and I would be on FaceTime. He told me once that I was more of his type, and she just laughed it off.